Yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, yo, yo. Yo, okay, what I'm gonna do tonight is just gonna share my screen, and I'm gonna take a look at how to control your thinking, so you can do all the things you want to do in your life and not be controlled by your thinking, which is what happens to pretty much all of us if we don't do this. So, I'm going to spend about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, just talking about this and going through what it takes, how you have to develop this over time, and how it affects you, how it affects your mind, and all of those things. So let me share my screen. I'm going to share the whole screen. Canva. Okay, so let me log in to Canva. And basically, the way this works is, we're thinking thousands of thoughts every day. And they are like a kind of river or a stream, just constantly trickling into our minds. And is they create a kind of like a feedback loop, right? By really, they do this by just, one second, let me come to the drawing board. Where is it? Where's drawing? Drawing. Create whiteboard. So yeah, you've got this stream coming in constantly. And, it's just constantly making you feel a certain way. And, if you think about hypnosis is like somebody suggesting things to you continuously until you feel a certain way, right? The same is true with our minds. Like we're constantly suggesting things to ourselves. Okay, so let me draw this. So let's describe it like this. You got your you, and think about like your whole life, like this. You were born here, born, and then death. So you got your whole life, right? And because this stuff happens over time, let's say death. And so your whole life, you are just constantly thinking. You're thinking all the time. You got thoughts. Let's say it's like a sort of feedback loop, right? You get these like bubbles. So these are like thoughts. You got little thoughts. Sometimes they get bigger and bigger and bigger because you're worrying, right? Or you're thinking negatively. So you've got all these thoughts just popping into your mind all the time. But the thing about the thoughts is you are like every day you're thinking more of the same kind of thoughts. Whatever you thought yesterday, you're thinking more of, right? Because you already think that way. So it's kind of like, it wants to happen again. Let's see, is anybody watching? Nobody's watching. And so that's what's happening. Your thoughts are coming in, they're popping in. They are sort of amplifying day by day, amplifying. They're getting more and more. They are getting more and more. Let me put, where is it? Can I detach the chat? Timestamp, reactions, pop-up chat, pop-out chat. There we go. Huh. Don't know what that is. Nothing to see here. We popped out. Restore chat. I guess I can put the chat like this. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and by community guidelines. And stream. Pop up dashboard. So this is your thinking, right? All the time, more and more and more. And it's kind of weird. You don't even really notice you're thinking because you've always been thinking the same kind of thoughts, right? And so you don't, even if they're really negative, you don't even notice it because that's just your normal. That's your normal way of thinking, right? So a big part of this also is, all the experiences you've had. We zoom out. All the experiences you had in your life, events, people telling you things, things happening, people telling you things, especially your parents, the way they treated you when you were young, all these things have just created sort of what you believe about the world. Events. These are all events. And then this accumulates into your identity. So that's your identity. And your identity is also playing into who you are. So let's say, let's clean this up a bit. Let's say the way it works is like this. Your identity is telling you what you should think. Then your environment so like what you watch on TV, this is, and where you live, all these things. This is telling you also what you should think. So you're having thoughts and, based on what your identity thinks about you, what you think yourself, who you think you are based on your identity, what you think is possible based on your environment, the people you see around you, how they think, all these kind of things. That is how you are seeing the world, right? And then, so these are creating thoughts, these are creating thoughts for you. And then, your experiences, the events happening to you right now are creating thoughts. So every day you're having thoughts based on like the past, the based on your identity and based on the environment, the things you're putting into your brain, basically, right? Because you're putting things in your brain constantly. You're watching TV, you're looking at social media, right? And you are maybe like watching loads of YouTube videos. You're watching the news. You are listening to friends and family about the way the world is, all this kind of stuff, right? So this is also creating thoughts. This is creating thoughts, and then they're popping out into your mind. Thoughts. And then your identity is basically your beliefs, right? And your beliefs are just things you've experienced many times and thought about many times, right? If you think you are not a creative person, and you just keep repeating that to yourself, then you become very much not a creative person. But maybe, it's not a good example because some people are not creative. But let's say you don't think you are good at, I don't know. Let's say you never really tried football that much, but you don't think you're very good at football. You don't think you'd be able to play in a team. So you would tell yourself you're not possible. That's not possible, and then that would become true. So that's how beliefs are formed, right? So every day when we're thinking all these things, what this does is it makes us feel, because our feelings are down here. It makes us feel a certain way, right? We feel good or we feel bad, or we feel, like positive or negative, or, in between on a scale or a spectrum. You might feel a little bit positive or a little bit negative, or neutral or very positive or very negative, or something in between all of those. So when we feel a certain way, then we take action, right? So maybe if we feel bad, we don't take action. That would be a kind of action. Like not doing something is doing something in a way, because you're sitting not taking action. Or maybe you feel really positive and motivated and you take action, right? So it's like the way we think, all these little thoughts all the time, they're just constantly affecting our whole body, our whole, what would you say, like biochemistry. Our whole body is alive and atoms vibrating, and it's living particles, living cells, right? So every thought we have has an effect on every part of our body, every cell in our body, right? And if you think about it, right, like even if you're try to, do positive affirmations and meditate and stuff, your baseline thinking is still going to be very negative. I mean, just think about like when you wake up in the morning, everybody feels like crap. Why is that? Because you're totally unconscious of your thinking. You just wake up, and then your mind is like your subconscious sort of thinking, because it's not even conscious. You can't see your thoughts unless you're actually thinking about seeing them. Is just thinking, man, this sucks. So another day. I'm too tired. I feel tired. I don't want to get up. Or maybe you feel great. Maybe you get up. Who knows? But that's the way it works, right? So these thoughts are having an effect on our biochemistry and our feelings, how we feel. And, you know, think about it like this, like motivation is a feeling. Feeling motivated is a feeling. So the feeling of motivation comes from thinking the right way. Like when you watch a motivation, like one of those YouTube sort of compilations of people inspiring people talking about motivation, that makes you motivated. Why? Because you are absorbing those statements from inspiring people, which is having the same effect as your thoughts. They're replacing your thoughts for a period of time. If you do it long enough, you start feeling amazing. So what does that tell you? It tells you that if you replace your thoughts with the right thoughts for long enough, you start feeling amazing. You start feeling motivated, right? So you can either feel motivated and positive and optimistic, or you can feel demotivated, negative, and pessimistic. So like this is the pessimistic one. He's going to do, maybe a little bit of work, force himself. But then the motivated, positive, optimistic one, he's going to love doing work. He's going to be like enjoying the work. He's going to be expecting good results and, take more action. Is going to have more energy to take action. And then there will be results. Right? There'll be results here as well, but they're not going to be very inspiring. And they'll be weak. And then, so basically, with all having the right thoughts. Okay, so having the positive, having the motivated, positive, optimistic side. How do we do that, right? So this is what we want to create. And so essentially we want to replace our thinking with one of those motivational tracks, continual motivation tracks. And at first you need to, it's a bit like a meditation. At first you need to do guided meditation. So you need to actually guide yourself through it, because it's very hard to meditate to begin with, right? Is anybody watching? Nobody watching. "25 minutes. "25 minutes. Stop sharing the screen. All right, so is anybody watching? Nobody's watching. Let's make one person watch. See if we can get one person watching. See if we can get one person watching. One person watching. All right, share the screen, entire screen. Maybe I should share. Sharing. Maybe I should share one tab. There we go. That's better. Okay, so okie dokie. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Okay, so to continue, what we have is we've got like I said, two effects of your thoughts: feeling good or feeling bad, or on a spectrum between them, right? So let's say our conscious, like our unconscious, just natural thoughts are, pretty bad. They're not helping us. They're pretty negative, and we have pretty much no control over them. Let's just say it like that. Okay, so no control over the thoughts. No control over them at all. Just really not controlling them well at all. So all these thoughts we're thinking every day. I mean, we're thinking a lot of thoughts every day. I believe, let me Google this. How many thoughts do people think a day? I think it's like 10,000, I've heard. Could be, yeah. So people think tens of thousands of thoughts daily, with estimates ranging widely from 6,000 to 70,000 plus. 70,000 plus. Though some prominent figures like 12,000 to 60,000 often citing misattributed NSF study are popular, with a common, often disputed claim suggests about up to 95% are representative. More recent research points to roughly 6.5 thought transition or thought worms per minute. Thought worms, totaling over 6,000 in a waking day, with more anxious individuals showing faster rates, totaling over 6,000. So you're at least thinking 6,000 thoughts a day. Maybe even up to like 12, between 12 and 60,000. So think about that, right? Think about that. That's crazy. So these little balls of thoughts actually should be more like 6,000 of them. Well, let's just say one of these is 1,000, right? So, imagine somebody speaking to in your ear 6,000 thoughts a day. Like, you can't do that. You're not going to be good at that. You, like 6,000 times. Because to put this into perspective, like, if you want to program your mind, like, repetition is the most powerful way to do it. So think about it. If you can control your thoughts, if you can think 6,000 empowering thoughts a day, just imagine what you can do. Imagine how your life would change. I mean, this is why, if you think about it, this is why coaches are so powerful, because a coach is putting the right thoughts in your mind. He's telling you you can do it. You because also what somebody else says to you is much more powerful than what you say, because we take what people say like very powerfully, about ourselves, right? So just think about that. It's crazy. Like 6,000 up to, I mean, that's on the low end. They were saying up to 60,000 thoughts. So you're like, how many thoughts do you control every day? Most people, it's probably 0. And then how positive are your thoughts every day? For most people, it would be on a scale of 1 to 10, probably like between 1 and 3. That's where my thoughts used to be. Like 1 and 3 would be like probably like a 3 on the scale of positivity, right? So not positive at all. And so what does that mean? I mean, we obviously need to take control of these thoughts, right? And in the beginning, you've got to do it by, just actively taking control of them, right? So how do you do it? Like, you can't just like think thoughts all day long. I mean, it's like with meditation, you're going to lose focus, right? So you do what you do in the beginning with meditation. You do a guided sort of thought process, right? So you can play a track, or you can record affirmations, and you can play it with some relaxing music and just play it on loop. Because it doesn't really matter like if the affirmations and thoughts are repeating a bit. It's better to repeat positive affirmations and thoughts than think minimum 6,000 negative ones. So like what's happening when we do this, right? We are, normally we're going from like, let's do this again. Normally we have 6,000 negative thoughts a day. Just per day, negative. Just streaming into our brain, or we should say, streaming through our brain. And these are making us feel pretty bad. So we feel negative. And we have less energy, and we just don't feel positive, right? And that's why we need motivational videos, and we need coaches, and we need, we need alcohol to numb our thoughts and our negative feelings for a while. So when we're feeling pretty bad like this, we're not very positive, we're not taking a lot of action. So we're not seeing a lot of results. Not seeing a lot of results. And because we're not seeing a lot of results, the feedback we're getting is pretty crap. Not very good. You're not getting great feedback. So, when tomorrow comes and the results are pretty bad, and guess what we're thinking? we're thinking 6,000 more negative thoughts, probably even more negative, like extra negative, right? So this is a feedback loop, and feedback loops are like everywhere in nature. Like this is how systems work. It's how your hormones work. It's how all the systems in your body work. It's how like the stock market works. Everything that has these patterns of going up and then down. So think about it like this, right? So most people are in this negative loop. They're just going round and round and round. So let's say we just switch it to, we put in the audio track, right? We're putting in a new audio track. We're going to play this audio track of ourselves speaking many, many positive thoughts and affirmations. We're just gonna play it all day long, with headphones or just playing, or if you're at work and you can't listen to headphones or whatever, you're just gonna think good thoughts all day. Just gonna force yourself to do it. So we're gonna have we're just gonna switch it. Instead of negative, it's positive, but it's a track, right? It's like we are actively playing a track, a new track, and it's positive. So we're having 6,000 positive thoughts. So imagine like all the best, most positive, most powerful thoughts you can think of, just playing in your mind constantly.
It's 22 hours.
How are you going to feel? Well, pretty soon you're going to feel pretty. How do I get rid of that? I know how I can do it. Whoops, a little bit too much. You're going to feel pretty soon, you're going to feel positive. And you're going to feel pretty good, right? You're going to feel great. You're going to start smiling. You're going to start feeling good. You're going to start thinking, wow, I feel pretty good, pretty excited about the future. And what you're going to do is you're going to be a bit more excited to take action. You might take twice as much action as normal, or you might enjoy taking action a bit more, and you might get better results, right? So the action is going to be a bit more, which means the results, they're going to be a bit better. Let's just do 2 for now. And then the feedback comes back, and the feedback's going to be a bit more, right? You're going to have more evidence that, yeah, things are good. And then you're going to want to think more positive thoughts the next day. And you're going to think, yeah, it's true. What this is going to do is, over time, it's going to start programming your beliefs. Because your beliefs are just made of like everything that you've thought and experienced many times, right? Like if you never go to the gym and every day you experience not going to the gym, and you see fit people and you say, I'm not a fit person, and you think that, you just programmed your mind you're not a fit person. But if you go to the gym for 6 months every day and you start telling yourself you're a fit person, by the end of 6 months, you're going to believe I am a fit person. That's how beliefs work. It's just evidence and the way you think, right? So your beliefs are becoming more positive. And when you have more positive beliefs, you have more natural positive thoughts. So you start having natural positive thoughts, and pretty soon you don't even need to play the track anymore. You're just so positive and excited and just like enjoying life that you just think natural thoughts, 6,000 minimum, maybe 60,000 all the time. So that is the way it works. And how long have we been going? 42 minutes. So we're going to go 1 hour. And that is the way it works. So we got, this is your whole life. Your past creates your current identity. Your identity feeds into your thoughts. Your thoughts, you're thinking thousands and thousands of them every day, are just feeding into your how you feel. And your environment is feeding into what you think and how you feel. What you feel and how you think is affecting what you do, your results. What you do, obviously, creates your results. So this is essentially how your paradigm works, right? So this is how you change your paradigm. So paradigm is how you see the world, right? And so it's like, I mean, this is all in your mind. Let's say it's all in your mind, which it is, because everything's in your mind. So your paradigm is your beliefs, your thoughts, it's like your beliefs and your thoughts. And then, actually, I should put them in your subconscious. So your subconscious is your like deep brain, let's say. Your conscious mind is your so let's say like this is your conscious and subconscious. And then so you got beliefs in your beliefs in your conscious. Your beliefs are in your subconscious. You don't even know what your beliefs are until you figure them out because they're subconscious. But your thoughts are conscious. You can see your thoughts, but I mean, where do thoughts come from? It's quite a ethereal question, but they're certainly in your subconscious. They're in your conscious mind, right? They're bouncing around your conscious mind. The things you are hearing from your environment are coming into your conscious mind. If you watch TV, the things people say on TV or the things people say around you, they become thoughts in your mind. And also they become, this is a big thing people don't think about, they become images in your mind. So you've got thoughts and images just rolling around your mind. Images. And all of this stuff is not very helpful, right? If you think about most thoughts you have, they're not helping you that much. And the thing is, if you don't question them, if you don't reject them, if you don't replace them with better ones, or if you don't use techniques to get rid of images and remove their power, they have an effect on your subconscious mind and they program your beliefs and your thinking from the subconscious, right? So essentially you've got to control this area. You can't really control you can't really control the subconscious because it's not really conscious. It's not really tangible, the subconscious. We can speak to it through the conscious mind, or with hypnosis and relaxation, we can go kind of into the subconscious. But we need to control this area. So this is the conscious mind. We got to control it. So we got to control what comes in. We got to reject, negative stuff. Don't put crap in your mind. Create a mental diet of good things. Only good things coming in. So positive things coming in. Remove all the negative stuff. Remove all the garbage, social media, and all that kind of stuff. And start just programming your thoughts. Programming the right thoughts, Play a track. What do you want to think every day? Do you want to think that you are becoming rich, or you are rich, or it's easy to make money, or you're a great person, or all these kind of things that a powerful version of you would think. You want to think that, right? So you want to program your conscious mind with all the thoughts. And then, a kind of key to this is, like, as you're thinking these things, you want to feel the emotion. You want to just think about what you just thought and see it in your mind. And you can do it with your eyes open. I do it with my eyes open. And it makes me feel good. And I feel good. And then I realize, wow, if I control what I think, I control everything. Because if I control what I think and see, I control everything. Because if you don't control what you think and see, if you're constantly addicted to social media and looking at the news, and, your thoughts are not what you want to think. They are programmed from the media, from social media, from what people say to you, what people say is possible, all this kind of stuff. And you're not going to get great results. Not going to get great results putting all of that crap in your mind, right? Because you're going to have 6,000 thoughts about all the terrible things happening in the world and all the lack and limitations and all the things, negative things people said, and you're just going to feel like absolute crap. And then you're going to have crappy actions, crappy results, crappy feedback, crappy thoughts for the rest of your life until you're dead. And you don't want that. You want to change your life today. And you want to make results today. Well, do you think you're going to make more results if you think between 6,000 and 60,000 amazingly powerful thoughts every day? I think so. You're going to do a lot more if you do that than sitting around thinking 6,000 to 60,000 negative thoughts. Well, let's say we've got 9 minutes left. Nobody's watching, but this is the inaugural live event of nothing happening. But so what we can do is we discussed the paradigm. That's your paradigm. This is your life. This is how the loop of your life works. This is how your lifespan works. Just carrying all this baggage into the present, creating this big old identity for yourself that, keeps you stuck where you are. All the way until you die and you were just like, what the hell happened? I couldn't control any of that. So to summarize all of this, I suppose we got 9 minutes left. We might as well summarize it. To summarize, to sum it all up. To sum it all up, your thoughts are the key. Are the key to your how should we put it? Thoughts equal key to goals, right? Because think about it, like if you've ever tried to achieve a goal, you know, you are here, you're trying to achieve your goal. It's pretty hard. Your goal is over here. You are trying your best, but you get halfway and you're just thinking, this just isn't working. This just is not working. This is never going to work. What was I thinking? You're an idiot. What are you thinking? Just go back there where it was all nice and safe and comfortable. This is really uncomfortable here. Your thoughts are either, making or breaking your situation. I heard an amazing quote. I can't remember where it's from, but it was like quite a while ago I read this. It was like really stuck in my mind. It was like, if you have even like a tiny amount of doubt, you are never going to do it. And what is doubt? Doubt is just like negative thoughts. So one thing you can control is your thinking, right? It could be the worst weather in the world. It could be like, you could be in the worst situation in the world. You could be broke with no money, homeless, girlfriends left you, your family don't want to speak to you, just like it's the middle of winter. If you can control how you think, you still have control of your situation because you can still do something, right? But the way it works for most people is like, and myself included, is like you in the past, like I couldn't control my thinking. I thought, I have no control of my thinking. And if something bad happens, I'm definitely not thinking positive things, right? So it's kind of like a muscle. It's kind of like a muscle, this, like you're thinking, think about it like thinking muscles. If you got big thinking muscles, you can think very powerfully. Jesus, is that a muscle? Kind of. Let me just see if I can make it a bit more muscly, like an arm, not like something else. Jesus Christ. That is a little bit more like it. That one was not very good. Let me edit that. Looks a little bit weird. Suggestively weird. I'm going to redo that. So this should be a forearm, not. How do we get the knuckles right? There we go. That's not bad. All right, so that's like big thinking muscles. So that's our goal, right? To get big thinking muscles. And yeah, so we've got 4 minutes left. And to summarize, big thinking muscles come from thinking the right things every day. So when you first go to the gym, you get a personal trainer, right? Because you don't have confidence, you've never done the workouts, and they tell you, go here, do this, 5 of those, and they keep you motivated. They give you a pep talk, as they do it. So that's why we listen to a track. Listen to an audio track. Constantly stream. Also, when you're listening to an audio track, you cannot think bad thoughts, You can't get distracted and then start thinking bad thoughts because it's playing. Even if you stop listening to it, you're subconsciously listening to it. It's quite crazy. Your subconscious mind is always listening to stuff. If you just sat with a track playing negative negative affirmations, but you weren't listening to it, it would affect your subconscious mind. So anyway, that's what we do. Very powerful. And yeah, that's it. That is it. That is how to think thoughts to get what you want. Maybe I overcomplicated it a little bit, but yeah, I could sort of summarize it by play a track 24 hours a day with positive thoughts. And then once it's so easy to think that way, just get rid of the track. And you've already got the thoughts playing in your mind anyway. And then you